Amy, do I have permission to date myself horrendously in front of you right now?
Sure. Why not?
This is the best invitation, and I have not watched this show for minimum of 20 years. That's all, folks. Was that good?
Oh boy. That was, yes. Old Bugs Bunny.
I tried. Well, guys, as you could tell from the title and from my stellar introduction,
was that the surprise? Was that the surprise?
That was not the surprise, actually. Okay. That was
Nikki told me there's going to be a surprise, so now I'm on edge.
No, I'll reveal that at the end.
Okay.
But Amy, that's a wrap on season 2 of the IBS Freedom podcast. How perfect are you and your womb and your children that we ended on the perfect number both times?
I know. We
got up to episode 100 before Cece was born, and now we ended with episode 200 for Miss Frankie. That really scratches a certain itch in my brain.
Oh, yes.
And I want to thank you and your womb and your children for that. So thank you.
You are so welcome. Frankie's blowing you a kiss from inside my belly
right
now.
Oh, I caught it.
Yes.
But yeah, so you are ready to burst any minute. By the time this clip posts, you will have had the baby.
For sure.
And you'll be in the throes. I sure hope
so. When is this publishing? Like November?
Yeah, like second week of November, I think.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine?
No, I cannot.
The baby would be like 13 pounds or something.
We're filming this in September, just so you know, people. But yeah, so we are going to be on hiatus for a little while because a certain Miss Amy will be on maternity leave and taking care of her new babe. What would you say? Do you think we'll be back for season 3, like beginning of the new year, like first quarter of 2025 is probably a safe bet?
I think that's a really safe bet.
Yeah. So make sure that you stay subscribed, stay tuned. And I don't know how active you're going to be on Instagram when you're on maternity leave, maybe sharing the occasional cute baby photo in your stories.
Yes.
Do you want to remind the good people how they can find you and follow you on Instagram?
Yes, you can find me at Amy_Hollenkamp_RD on Instagram. Yeah, I post there a few times a week, usually.
Okay. Yeah, so
week.
You could still learn from Amy, even when she's on maternity leave, or at the bare minimum, you could see cute baby photos in her stories. And I am also on Instagram and YouTube under the same handles. So it's gut.microbiome.queen on Instagram. Or if you just look up Gut Microbiome Queen on YouTube, my channel is under the same name. And I will be posting regularly on both of those platforms since I'm not the one having a baby. I'm still going to be working like a schmuck while you're over there having cute baby snuggles. And
I'll probably be sleep deprived.
Well, yeah.
And leaking boob juice everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're hardly on vacation for the next few months. But
it's true.
I'm still going to give you crap. But yeah, so hopefully you guys follow us on one or all of those platforms. Like I said, we're both on Instagram. I'm on YouTube. The surprise that I had for you, my dear, is I just wanted to nod to season 2 and tell the good folks at home what my favorite episodes were from season 2. Are you ready?
Yes.
I skimmed the list really quickly when you took a potty break after our last episode that we just filmed. And I think, drum roll, I think my 3 favorites were all kind of in the same chunk of time. I really loved The Anxiety Paradox with Michelle Kavanaugh, which was episode 174, posted on May 6th of this year. That's probably my number 1 favorite from this season, honestly.
Yeah.
I vividly remember the ant and how horrifying that was. If you haven't watched that one on YouTube yet, guys, you have to, because the visual that she used for that explainer was just so good. My number 2 fave, I think, was our Christmas gift episode with Sarah Ballantyne. That was, again, such a great conversation. She's a freaking gem. If you guys have not gotten her Nutrivore book yet, or at least checked out the Nutrivore website, what are you even doing with your life? Like, go right now. It's so good. And then I feel like my other favorite, in part because we got a lot of really good feedback on this one, was The Truth About Functional Medicine.
Yeah.
Which was episode 161. And I didn't say, but Sarah Ballantyne's episode was episode 155. Posted at Christmas last year. So I think that rounds out my top 3 favorites from season 2. I mean, they were all awesome. And I look forward to making more episodes with you in the near future. But yeah, those were
the Michelle Kavanaugh one. I don't think I've laughed as hard on an episode either, when she was talking about how like you could how people have anxiety about like pooping, having an accident. And she said something like along the lines of like, it's their problem now.
Yeah, it's out of me. I feel good.
I was like in a tizzy after the way she delivered that. I was like, oh my God.
She needs to be a comedian in her spare time.
And I will say her Instagram is pristine. It's very comical. It's very educational. I highly recommend her Instagram as well. But I agree, that might have been my all-time favorite too, just because she cracked me up. She provided like the best visuals probably of any guest we've had. And I think it's very, very relevant to so many people in the IBS space. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I thought that was just chef's kiss.
Oh, yes.
I'll message her after this and tell her that we officially give her the award of the favorite episode for the season.
Oh, yes. She would probably love that.
Yeah.
And you have to meet her in person since she lives near you.
Yes, I forgot about that until we started talking about this, and then it popped back in my brain. I do, and maybe I'll post it in my Instagram stories. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, and just, I think that we covered a lot this season. We had talked about this off camera. I'll mention this briefly, is that our intention going into season 3 is to be able to do some deep dives on some complex topics. So we rounded out the season with some episodes about underappreciated vitamins and minerals. And we have said for a while now that we would love to do dedicated episodes to nutrients. So like an entire episode about riboflavin, an entire episode about thiamine, calcium, whatever. So the single nutrient series, I think, will be a really great deep dive for us to do. I know we want to do a deep dive on things like testing for candida and parasites and D-lactic acidosis and some just more complex topics that necessitate a lot more reading and research. So I, for one, am looking forward to doing that once you have the bandwidth and energy and time to come back here in the spotlight. So
yeah,
I'm excited.
Once I push this bowling ball out of my body.
Exactly.
I'm at the point of my pregnancy where like I cannot take just an ounce of my husband complaining. Where he's like, oh, I didn't sleep that great, and I'm like, I'm peeing 5 times a night, like, chill, bro. But again, it's still okay. He can complain sometimes, so I'm not that mean. But I'm getting to the point where I'm like,
I don't remember what it was. I feel like it might have been Friends, but there's some reference, there's some TV show where I think maybe it's like the husband complaining and they ask the wife or the girlfriend or whoever, like, what did you do today? And she says, I made a lung.
Right.
No, actually, I think it's a stand-up comedian. I think it's, oh gosh, I forget his name. Cho. Anyway, yeah. I made a lung.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay. Point taken.
Right.
You win.
Exactly. It's funny. I don't know.
And knowing you and your first child, at least, you're probably making a boatload of hair because Cece came out with a full adult man's
like a toupee.
Yes.
It looked like a baby toupee.
It did. So knowing you and the way you grow babies,
well, I remember if you listen to really old episodes before she was born, I told you, I said, I think she's going to have a lot of hair. And you didn't like tell me, no, she's not or anything. But I have on record saying that she was going to have a lot of hair. And she did. I had probably like maybe slightly above average baby hair. And then Armand had like crazy baby hair. So I think we both like added to the mix, but probably he was even more so.
Well, both Mike and I were bald as billiards coming out.
Oh my gosh.
And it's just like nothing for the longest time. And similarly, Jess had virtually no hair for like the first year of her life.
That is so crazy to me.
This little tiny bit right here, and that was it.
Well, it's funny because Cece then looks much older than her age because she has like full eyebrows. She had full eyebrows coming out. So it wasn't even just her hair. So like to me, I didn't really know, looking back at pictures, to me now it makes sense, but she looked older than her age because she had all this hair, but she was so tiny, like a newborn.
Yeah.
But she had these like thick eyebrows too. So you're just like, oh my gosh, you look older than like a newborn, because most newborns don't have like eyebrows that you can see, even if they do have a little like tuft of hair there. So it's strange.
So funny. The eyebrows.
Oh yeah, she had some brows.
Yeah, that is a valid point. I wouldn't have thought about baby eyebrows.
Yes.
Look,
yes.
the things you learn here with us in the IBS Freedom Podcast ecosystem here.
I bet they cannot wait till season 3 after this.
Yes. Riveting conversations galore. But seriously, I mean, I'm excited for the deep dives. I think this might come off sounding a little bit critical of our podcast up until this point, and I don't mean it to be. I think a lot of people will understand what I mean by this, but I feel like we have covered most of the things at like what we would consider to be surface level as well as we could. Like, confession, the last handful of episodes of the season, I almost every time before we record the episode, a day or two prior, I'm texting Amy and I'm like, what do we do? Like, what topic? I'm out of ideas. And
this is our process, people.
Yeah, it's pretty sloppy.
It's a desperate song.
But seriously, it's not that I'm out of ideas. It's just that we're at a point now that all of the ideas that we do have are going to require a lot more research, because there's a ton of horse manure out there. And we're trying to bring you the truth and nothing but the truth here on the IBS Freedom Podcast. So it's like, for parasites, for example, conventional medicine says, no, bro, nobody has parasites. You're good. And then the functional medicine space, there are people who will tell you with a straight face that everybody has parasites. We all need to do a yearly parasite cleanse. Boogity boogity. It's like, the truth is probably somewhere in between those two extremes. And there's nobody else that I can find on the internet talking about this in a rational way. So that just means that we have to suck it up and do that research ourselves and come to our own conclusions. And there are other examples of this where, like, again, I would love to do a deep dive on D-lactic acidosis or, again, testing for candida. Like, do we have a commercially available, viable, accurate test for candida? Or no? I suspect no, but I'm not going to say that with 100% certainty until I do the research myself. So it's just, we're at that point where we've done, again, what you and I would consider to be surface level. The first 200 episodes, we largely talked about off the cuff, believe it or not. And now we need to learn a little bit more and grow a little bit more in order to keep providing you with accurate, excellent information. So that's kind of where we're at. So I think, again, you're not going to be recovering much because you're going to have a baby to take care of, but I'm hoping to recover my energy and my bandwidth and do some research so that I can bring a lot to the table in season 3. So
love it.
We'll go forth. We will provide for our little ducklings out there who are listening to us and depending on us, but not until the new year, because Amy's having a baby and she needs to recover, people. So until then, toodaloo, like I said, follow us on Instagram and follow me on YouTube if you want to keep learning in the meantime. Until episode 201, adios.